My name is Berto Torres. I'm the COO of GFarma Brands. We're a company located out of California. We're currently sitting here in one of our farms in Calaveras County. It's a 22,000 square foot commercial cultivation property. So, I know it goes against the standard method, especially in California, NorCal mentality. Everybody goes bigger, 400 gallons, 500 gallons. I saw some 600 gallons this season, and that really is a function of the fact that we've traditionally, or up until this year, we've been a plant count state. So when a county gives you the privilege to be able to grow, you're kind of stuck in that parameter of, hey, I can only grow 6, 12, 18, 24 plants. And we kind of looked at it from a totally different aspect and looked at it more of along the lines of a commercial scale ag mentality, where we thought we're going to use smaller pots in order to create more density. And if we lost a plant, you weren't losing these 10 or 12 pound plants. You're losing 2 to 4 pound plants versus these big giants. Less soil usage, consumption, easier to irrigate, number of reasons. And then that was for starters. One of the biggest things about it that we did was you hear the notion, the bigger the root, the bigger the fruit. And our mentality was that if we can get that bag to almost be nothing but roots, we're almost straight feeding, causing a much greater fruit at the top. So I know that that's not traditional thinking, but that was the thought behind it. Just because of the heat, trying to keep the heat off of it. Calaveras will reach upwards of 100 degrees. In Washington, also where we use grassroots pots, we've clocked days that are 116, 117. It's a very arid, desert-like climate. As a matter of fact, it's called the Palm Springs of Washington. It gives you an indication of what we're dealing with over there. So we definitely went with tan pots to have the pots be in a cooler climate and not have to go back and backfill with hay. Everything that we do is really trying to scale up and to take labor and hands off of the product. I basically, having grown for the first time, one of the biggest issues that I had was that the soil ended up compacting on us. And that was a function of not having enough aeration, not having enough, whatever it is you might use, vermiculite, perlite, rice hulls, just make sure that it drains very well. That's the number one thing, because that year we did a massive grow and yield was extremely affected by the fact that it wasn't, for a non-scientific term, it wasn't a fluffy soil, So we like soil that it drains extremely well, so we can run newts through it and not have any lockout on the plants as far as pH or overfeeding is concerned. So I would say, make sure that soil drains very well. As far as GFarma Brands goes, we have a pre-rolled joint that's infused with liquid gold CO2 cannabis oil. In going through and choosing the product line, the cultivars that run for that product itself, we have 7 strains that we never. It's kind of like tightly kept IP, but everything there for the actual pre-rolled material is chosen based on potency, yield, of course, fan leaves. So we do have families of OGs running in there. All our products are sold in 3 classifications, which would be indica, hybrid, and sativa, not cultivar specific, which this year we are going to introduce a couple lines where we're unveiling, I think, another 7 strains, and they will be strain specific. But as it is right now, we do everything was based really on a scalability mentality, ease of it. We were running a test bed as far as it being how it would ward off its natural enemies or natural predators, be it mites, broad mites, thrips, powdery mildew, everything that we did, we bred through and introduced into different climates to make sure that we were getting a consistent product at the end, year after year, and that we weren't dealing with all these biologicals. Our IPM is while we use a lot of synthetics, our IPMs are organic. We don't really we're not the guys that are gonna get mites and introduce avid to the product. We in California especially, we self-police because you don't it's not something you have to do here. In Washington, you can't use cheater products. You can't use that Eagle 22 on the indoor because if they do tests for pesticides, if any of that stuff is found to contain any of that, that's just product that's destroyed. You can't do anything with it. So we've adopted that complete mentality in the state of California also, and as we move forward too, even with states that don't allow it, what we've learned here in Cali and especially in Washington, we apply state by state with the mentality that, hey, you know what, someone might go ahead and test that product and check for it, and we don't want to be found to be in non-compliance, so we self-regulate ourselves even when we don't have to. It was really the factors we were looking for were mostly full sun. If you look at our grow, it's almost like a little valley is formed, a bowl, for lack of a better word, and that was just basically set by the property boundaries. You have to be in Calaveras. It's very strict as far as being 75 feet off the property line. So we had to take that into consideration in the placement of the grow itself, and also to not disturb existing plants. Nice oak. We have beautiful oak trees up here in Calaveras. We didn't want to disturb any of that stuff, and it ended up being where you see it now. Unfortunately, I probably would have picked the nice flat top portion of the property. I just couldn't do it. You take the good with the bad and regulations, for the fact that everybody bitches about them. It gives us the opportunity to do what we love to do, which is key here. That's the biggest point. You talk about regulations with people and everyone's kind of up in arms about it. They don't want to hear about it because we've been this gray market for so many years. But it's a beautiful thing, man, to be able to sleep at night and know that you're not going to be raided. Now this is becoming an industry, especially in California. It's always been an industry, but now it's going to be a regulated industry. While it's a pain in the ass dealing with like property boundaries and stuff like that, it's a beautiful thing to be able to grow and like I said, man, I consider it a privilege. So we thank Calaveras County for allowing us to do what we did this year. We did a fundraiser here for one of the local board heads for re-election, and you look around, there's 300-400 growers there, and everybody knows each other. It's a really tightly knit community. It reminds me of like a Humboldt, that old school community. I know that people complain that it's not as much anymore, but I definitely felt like Calaveras. When we first got up here, it was almost like everybody knew each other, right? Which is really neat. That's the environment you want to be in, because everybody looks out for you. When we'd be driving by, we'd have other growers come by and say, hey, there's a car that's out there. It looks kind of sketch. I don't know if you want to tell your guys to go out there and check it out. He looks like he's trying to look over your fence line. So, there's definitely been situations like that. Besides everything that, farming is farming at the end of the day. So you have all these elements that are that are either for you or against you. You can lose your crop because of rain. You can lose it to natural predators. You can lose it to everything that can happen. This year, thankfully, they've eliminated the enforcement aspect of it as far as losing it like that, and now you have to worry about theft. So that's the last enemy as we come into harvest that makes this community different, I think, than most, is that everybody's kind of on the lookout for each other as far as that last enemy, which is the thieves and the guys that want to come and take it once it's done. So yes, there is. Namely, What we do is when we do cannabis for our, it's basically like just like choosing what we use for our pre-rolled. Fan leaf production comes into play, potency and yield for us, and then of course like natural predators. When we're doing for concentrates, we heavily go for strains that are low leaf, low fan leaf content, very consistent yielders, and more than anything, potency. So we like strains that will consistently test over 25-26% for our concentrates. So we'll keep that in mind when we're choosing it, and we'll dedicate about a quarter of the crop to that, quarter to 30% of the crop to extracts, or extract in mind. It's it's gnarly. It's completely different. I was talking to some Oregon guys too that were in Lake County back in the day with us, and they set up 40,000 plus square foot grow in Oregon also, and it comes harvest is quicker down here. The photo period is completely different. We're getting ready to start harvesting now. Washington is probably 10 to 17 days behind us, but it's definitely it's different. We lose light a lot faster than they do. We're pretty low on the horizon line there. So that is the biggest thing. The biggest thing that you have to get used to is, here we always talk about an first week of October to second week of October target date, and there it always seems to go into that third week, by the time we're done pulling. But yeah, I mean, last year we got in extremely late in ground. We were awarded a license there. I think it was August 24th, and we planted the last plant there September 3rd. So, and like I said, we ran, I think our final pull there was October 25th. It was a very short season, but it was a late harvest, right? And we're seeing that again this year. Plants, it doesn't matter what cultivar you're running, comparatively speaking, because we're running the same here as we are in Washington to keep the product consistent. You will see that it's roughly a week to 2 weeks behind over there. Our goal, when I went to school, I heard a crazy quote that I think that we've kept from the moment that we started growing, especially with the indoor side and the outdoor side. We spoke about consistency, and everyone always asks what makes us different than everybody else, and it's the consistency of the product. The quote that I was referring to was, we were working on a marketing campaign for McDonald's in school, and all these ideas were going to be handed to them, and the guy got up there and he said that, the crazy thing about McDonald's, or any fast food chain for that matter, right, or high quality restaurants, is that you can literally buy the product in California, drive clear across the country to Florida, and return it to the person at the cashier, and they won't know the difference, right? That is how tight their consistency is, and that's really where we strive to be. We want to be that consistent product across the board everywhere. It definitely, it depends on how the condition of the soil. We'll go through and test it at the end of the season, and then we'll introduce, at the beginning, if we decide that we're going to use the same pots, the very first thing we do is we go through and clean them all out, clean out all the root substance out of it, and then give them a nice, desalt every single pot, and we've had times where we've gone through and just taken them to laundromats and just basically rinse off, leach everything off of it with just water cycles. So yeah, I mean, the advantage is huge, right? It's a cost of good, going back to the cost of goods thing, right? We don't have to go through and we like to empty out our pots and redo them with the new medium. But we have, I think in Washington this year, we might have run 400 or 500 test pots with the same medium, and introduce beneficials into it this year to see how it reacted. And as far as physical appearance of the plant, we haven't seen a difference. They're also our test beds, so we'll see what they did as far as inputs go and final terp profiles and things like that. So we'll see. We don't expect to see a big difference, so we'll let you guys know. Man, that is a great question. I was just having the conversation yesterday with Ada Gonzalez, who's the founder of GFarma Labs, and it hit me the night before. Our goal as a company is to really get up there in terms of valuation of over $1 billion. You say that to people and it kind of, they scoff at it, but that we've heard that the whole time since we launched our brand. You can't do this, you can't do everything we hear. I think that in terms to see that become a self, or to see it become a prophecy, as I sit here and speak, you need regulations. For as much as people don't want them, it's in order to make this a true industry and push it forward. You see it in Washington, you see it in Colorado. You definitely need the regulations. I don't see it being deregulated as far as on a federal level. But once that happens, you'll see these massive valuations on people that control market share. 5 years from now, hopefully, I hope that California figures it out, and that as MRSA or AMA or REC comes in, that they will fast track it and make it so all these rules will be implemented, and it'll be done in an efficient manner that can be enforced. Because right now, and keep a safe, consistent product on the shelves. That's what I think everyone should strive for. So 5 years, hopefully we'll see regulations in California. I know they're on their way. I know they're coming. We'll see regulations that are actually implemented and enforced. That's what I think in Cali. I think in 5 years, I think at least 5 more I think at least 10 more states will fall in the REC program. So we'll see. I just see a fast track of growth. I think right now we're at a tipping point, and a year or two from now, once California goes, and if they can make this program work in the crown jewel of the United States, you'll see a tipping point go across the whole United States that'll be massive. So that's what's coming. That's what I see in the next 5 years. I don't see it being legally federally, but who knows?